storm of the century is closing in.
It's happening.
We are proceeding inbound to Dorian.
More intense than any Atlantic storm ever recorded.
Holy, that part of the wall is gone.
Woo! This is Hurricane Dorian.
Wow, that's nice! Look at that nice!
As storms hit new extremes and defy prediction, National Geographic gave cameras to more than 1,000 marine workers to film wherever storms might strike, right around the globe, on a scale never seen before. This is what came back from our cameras, caught in the path of Hurricane Dorian, the fiercest Atlantic hurricane in history.
Just your standard VHF radio. And this is the marine forecast. This is the main thing we listen to when we're out.
It's deep into hurricane season. Ron Yao is starting out on a regular 10-day trip on his shrimp boat, Sea King, taking with him one of our cameras.
We are shrimping offshore of St. Augustine Beach. And this is what it's looking like outside right now, which isn't so bad.
Out in the Atlantic, a buildup of storm clouds, watched by weather satellites, has begun to grow. As its winds hit 40 miles per hour, it's classed as a tropical storm and is given a name. Dorian.
We're just going to keep an eye on it and hope for the best. And that's what we're doing. We're not waiting. We got to go fishing. Boat's ready. We're fueled up. Everything's green light for go.
Sea King is one of hundreds of vessels now off Florida's Atlantic coast that have taken our cameras to sea as they keep watch on the new storm.
You see, that's the tropical storm Dorian. You can see that the wind has changed.
One of them is container ship Summers Isles.
It's predicted to be becoming quite bad in the coming days.
Tropical storm Dorian is now bearing down on Barbados, where another camera is rolling on board the tug Pelican 2.
Alright, the weather is deteriorating already. See, it's a bit more choppy than usual. Instead of coming from an easterly direction, which is from that direction, the wind is now coming from southeasterly direction. Welcome to sunny Barbados.
For a tropical storm to develop into a hurricane, a warm ocean is vital. When temperatures top 79 degrees, conditions are ripe. By late summer, the sun's effect is at its peak. And this year, from Florida to the Caribbean, the sea temperature is hitting a record high.
The water's 83, and I'm sure by the Bahamas, it's in the mid to upper 80s. There's plenty of, warm water. That's what set off, and that's the gasoline for a storm.
As Dorian draws energy from the superheated ocean, its threat level is rising.
We just wish that it don't come here. 2 years ago, when we got Hurricane Irma, we lost about half of our lobster gear. And now with Dorian coming as big as it is, we'd probably lose 100% if we had a direct hit.
All right, South Florida, we are tracking what is now Hurricane Dorian.
Hitting full hurricane strength with 75-mile-per-hour winds, Dorian crashes into the U.S. Virgin Islands. Within hours, wind speeds hit a new high of 85 miles per hour. Dorian is growing stronger and bearing down on Florida at 300 miles a day.
All right, we're the only game in town today. So we're the Reco mission, heading out to Hurricane Dorian.
In Florida, Flight NOAA 42 is moments from takeoff.
Plainside, I'm ready.
This is America's primary asset in forecasting how a storm will behave. The P-3 Hurricane Hunter, an airborne weather station that flies right into the storm.
Go online.
Taking with it one of our cameras.
We march into the storm and we directly measure things that can't be measured any other way.
042 on departure, turn left heading 180, runway 27, clear for takeoff.
Their mission is to fly through the eye, to pinpoint Dorian's exact center and gather data essential for forecast accuracy. Radio sensors dropped from the plane called sondes are the only way to get vital readings from inside a storm.
All right, good course, good speed.
After 3 hours airborne, the target is in sight.
So is that Dorian out there at the 10 o'clock? That it would be. Up 10 more miles. We'll get set up on a line. And we're going to try to find the eye of the storm. Inside 30 seconds. Roger, 30. Seatbelt light's coming on. 10 seconds.
The wind speeds start to come up. We get bumped around a fair bit, and then you start to hit the eye wall.
Here we go. Here we go.
Which is essentially this wall of precipitation.
The eye wall is where a hurricane's winds are at their most powerful.
One of the motors is right out my window, and the rain is so intense that I can't see the motor, and it's not a meter out my window. It's phenomenal.
The rain impacts the propeller with so much force it pits the metal.
Once we're inside of the eye wall, we actually follow the winds. And when they get to 0 knots, that is the center.
Yep. Okay, we're going into it now.
The most critical thing of every mission is fixing the center.
Arc center and the turbulence.
When we do, we drop a sonde.
Release on.
Sonde is away.
There you go. Steady on 045.
And every successive drop recorded lower pressure.
3, 2, 1.
Which clearly highlighted to us that Dorian was intensifying.
Release on.
Sonde is away.
The flight's data is beamed straight to the National Hurricane Center, where the new information confirms that the threat from Dorian is escalating.
And we're forecasting Dorian to go on and become a major hurricane now within the next 24 hours. That's category 3, 4, or 5 on the Saffir-Simpson hurricane wind scale.
At category 4, a hurricane's potential for destruction is 200 times greater than at category 1. And as it advances across the ocean, the prospect of Dorian making landfall looks ever more certain.
talking about the life-threatening storm surge and winds in the northwestern Bahamas, and potential for devastating winds and storm surge along the Florida East Coast, a potentially catastrophic hurricane event in portions of the Bahamas and Florida.
All right, let me put this on video.
Off Florida's east coast, fishermen are on guard for any change in the weather. They're among hundreds of marine workers using our cameras to capture tropical storms whenever and wherever they appear.
We got Hurricane Dorian coming this way, be here Saturday night.
In the Atlantic, the biggest storm for decades is building fast. Rapid intensification sees Dorian leap in less than 24 hours from a Category 2 hurricane to Category 4. Directly in its path, the island of Great Abaco in the northwest Bahamas. And beyond that, Florida and the port of Miami, the busiest cruise ship terminal in the world and a vital hub for freight.
Okay. Good morning, everyone. This is Captain Dorian. Thanks for joining us here on the phone.
Responsibility for the port's safety rests with the U.S. Coast Guard under Sector Miami's commander, Captain Joanne Dorian.
Just took a look at the 1100 update for Hurricane Dorian, and it looks like anticipating the first arrival of storm force winds sometime overnight Saturday, late Saturday, early Sunday morning.
A hurricane strike on a port can be catastrophic, doing damage valued at billions of dollars. The ultimate precaution is to evacuate the port and shut it down.
We talk a lot about port closure, but it's a balancing act to preserve the safety of the men and women who live and work here with efficient maritime commerce.
One day's closure has an impact on Florida's economy of over $100 million.
My position here as the captain of the port and as the sector commander is that safety is paramount. Captain of the port has ordered port condition X-ray be set at noon today. All ocean-going commercial vessels greater than 500 gross tons must prepare to depart the ports and anchorages.
Port condition X-ray is the trigger.
All right, thank you. Let's roll.
For evacuation.
All right, guys. Let's go to sea.
Leading to complete closure of the port. All ships will head to sea to escape the storm while there's still time. As Dorian's threat increases, the decision to close Port Miami is followed by ports further north. In Port Canaveral, all boats are ordered to leave.
All right. Port's making us get out. We got a Cat 4 coming breathing down our necks.
One of our cameras is with fisherman Matt Beadle, captain with commercial fishing fleet Wild Ocean.
I mean, the Wild Ocean fleet, Cindy Sue, Miss Lynn, myself, going into what they call the barge canal. They used to use it to haul coal and everything to the power plant up in Titusville. Now and try and get tied up and hunker down.
While large ships must head out to sea, smaller boats can seek shelter inland. But some can be reluctant to quit while they could still be fishing.
We got other boats in the port that are supposed to be going with us, and they play the game of, oh, we're not going yet. And if they can't get out of the port fines them $30,000 a day. Plus, if you leave your boat up here, if it breaks loose and does any damage to anything or any other boats, you are responsible and you are going to pay out your butt. Herb, I guess I'll just go in front of you.
The Wild Ocean fleet will meet to tie up at a mooring they've used in previous storms.
This is the most boats I've seen up here ever for a storm. I ain't ever seen boats up here like this before. All these people that got their boats on the south side, that is the worst place you want to be on. The problem with it is, it's going to be north and east winds. It's going to be at the back of their boats, not at the bow of the boats. It's going to spin those sumbitches around and put more stress on their lines than anything. Sean, I'm going to pass you on your port side and turn around and put my nose into the wind.
On the north shore, the boats are lashed together.
Throw them that.
For increased stability.
Throw that line. Tighten the bow line if you can. It's probably already on the beach now.
You're on the beach.
Category 4 Hurricane Dorian is now entering an ominous new phase. Seen from space, it's like a monster waking as Dorian opens its eyes. A circular clearing at its center is a sign of a well-established storm with the strength to go on growing. In the next 24 hours, Hurricane Dorian will make history in a way no one could have anticipated.
September 1st, 2019. Prepping for the hurricane. Highest ground in Hatteras is inside of a truck.
Top of the morning. It's what, like 6:56. Ain't nothing happening now. It's just that wind, some rain. Nothing too crazy yet.
Shrimp is really good right now. Shrimp are very plentiful. Shame the storm's coming on our part.
8 a.m. Dorian is flexing its muscles.
Winds have been bumped up to 160 miles per hour. Hurricane hunters flew through there and found some stronger winds, some lower pressure as well, so they upgraded it.
Bearing down on the island of Great Abaco, Dorian's power intensifies in 3 mighty steps. With the eye 5 miles from the island, its winds leap to 185 miles per hour.
185 mile per hour winds. We could see gusts up to 220 miles per hour. We've never seen that before. So this is a historical event that is unfolding right before our eyes.
In the hours before impact, Dorian has intensified at a rate never observed before in a storm so strong.
The ocean's already huge here, and the storm's so far away. Praying for those people in the Bahamas. Shoo!
Okay, the time is now 11:52. Like, the winds has picked up, like a lot. And it's starting to scare me now.
Just before noon, Sunday, September 1st, Dorian slams into the island of Great Abaco to become the most powerful hurricane ever to hit the Bahamas.
It's 12 o'clock and stuff's definitely starting to come apart. All the coconut trees have snapped off.
Dorian's extreme winds gust to a strength only experienced inside a tornado. The intense pounding is prolonged by Dorian's slow speed of travel across the island.
Look at that. Open ocean coming across from the parking lot, the street, to the marina.
Dorian's winds have pushed a 20-foot wall of water on shore.
We standing right here. The apartment building, as we stay in, the whole roof came off.
please pray for us. Please pray for us, everyone. Please pray for us. Pray for Abigail, please. I'm begging you.
By mid-afternoon,
The eye is here.
Dorian's eye is now over the town of Marsh Harbor.
Woo! Abigail.
An opening in the clouds 17 miles wide. But Dorian's assault on the northwest Bahamas is just getting started.
Good afternoon, Admiral Joe Bertian. We're commencing our 24-hour IMT in anticipation of tropical storm force winds arriving within the AOR overnight tonight. That's all I have. Any of your questions?
Thanks, Joe.
In Miami Coast Guard HQ, Captain Bertian's incident management team is briefing all units in the sector.
Do we have anyone from the Bahamas online? Okay. Here we go. Here we go.
Go. We are proceeding inbound to Dorian.
The Hurricane Hunter NOAA 42 is on its 12th mission into the eye of Dorian.
Dorian, you've changed. Oh, this is such a different storm.
Dorian's eye has opened wide.
There's a Grand Bahama sized hole in this wall.
A stadium of cloud now 23 miles across.
It's ugly. 3, 2, 1. Release midpoints on. Science equipment is go.
What they discover is a hammer blow. As Dorian reaches the island of Grand Bahama,
A very unfortunate place to stall.
its westward movement has stopped. The most powerful Atlantic hurricane to make landfall has stalled over Northwest Bahamas' most populated island.
If storm moving at a normal speed at that intensity is going to be devastating. To have a storm basically sit over the same general area is about the worst type of scenario you could imagine for those areas in terms of the impacts.
This is what's left of the resort. And there's some of the boats that were in the marina.
For 36 hours, Dorian has subjected the Bahamas to the most prolonged and powerful battering of a populated place ever recorded.
It's difficult to fly over these areas and look down at the devastation, to see the level of violence that these storms can exert on the surface of the earth and suffering that the people that are on the ground. But we got to get over it, because our focus is the current observation and how that translates into protecting people in the coming days for this particular storm. It's a challenge. It's a challenge.
At this point in time, we're forecasting Dorian to move north-northwestward, moving just offshore of the Florida East Coast all the way up to North Carolina. So the impacts are going to be over a very large area now.
As soon as you get it to him, Zane, get it on there and get that tied off and get that bow line.
Dorian is now heading for the east coast of the U.S. In Mayport, Sea King's Captain Ron is alive to the growing danger.
Well, with the storm coming, the wind's going to be out hard out the north and northeast. I'm wanting to get my bow headed up into it. Storms are very unpredictable. I'm not endangering anyone for money. It's not worth it to me.
It's crazy out here, man. It's scary a little bit.
On the fishing boat Gooch off North Carolina, the spreading anxiety is captured on camera.
Lightning coming this way.
Y'all wanted a documentary? You're getting it as real as it gets.
It's do or die now. We're cleaning all of our product and freezing it so we don't lose it.
Hatteras, on the outer banks of North Carolina, is on a countdown to collision with Dorian. At Jeffrey's Seafood, brothers Taylor and Kelsey Aiken handle distribution for a number of fishing boats on the island.
Trying to get all of our fish out of here. They'll be paid for it and we'll make money on it, so at least we'll be able to get something out of this ahead of this storm anyway.
A mandatory evacuation comes into effect later today. They need to get as much of their fish as they can on the last truck out.
We were able to get all of our fresh product out on the truck, but we had $20,000 worth of product in our freezer that we had to, hold on to.
The risk now is storm surge, and with it, power outage and flooding. The freezer is just a few feet above the ocean.
If it blows 35, 40, 50 miles an hour out of the northwest, all that water from across the sound will come here and it'll flood. That's what happened the previous years when Matthew came. This right here, that's how high it was in here in Hurricane Matthew. That's 5 foot of water in here, But that was insane. I'd never, ever seen it that high. That's the latest satellite image of Hurricane Dorian. By 8 p.m. tomorrow, it'll be in North Carolina, and by 8 a.m. Friday morning, it'll be on top of us. Yeah, I don't know. It doesn't look very good, to be honest with you.
Further north, in the port of Wilmington, cargo vessel Ice Ranger is due to leave for Florida. With Dorian in their path and coming this way, they've made a bold plan to skirt around the storm, leaving port ahead of Dorian's arrival. They'll pass within 80 nautical miles of the eye, on their course for Port Canaveral, Florida. Taking command for the 2-day voyage, Ukrainian Captain Zakhar Zemelyakov.
I'm very proud of it. I was promoted just 5 days ago. So all responsibility now on my shoulders, yeah. It's a little bit scary, but I have experienced crew.
Passing this close to Dorian's eye, Zakhar expects to face large swells.
This type of cargo is concentrated juice. It's a very heavy box, about 1.6 metric tons. When the ship is moving, walking, the cargo could shift to one side. Well, it could be dangerous for us.
We're looking at some flooding from what they're saying. There'll be a foot of water in that house right there.
In Hatteras, mandatory evacuation of the island has begun.
It can be that drastic that the storm wipes out the road so bad that it takes weeks, even months, to repair sometimes. So Kelsey and I, we made a decision that we were going to stay because we want to be here for our fishermen, and we want to be here and be able to recover everything we can as fast as we can. There's the official warning right there. Hurricane warning in this area. Pretty much telling you that if you haven't made plans to get out of here, it's probably time to do it. Yep, I'm here. This is happening. There's no going back. This is what we're doing.
September 5th, 2019, at my house, ready to go. Bring what you got, Dorian. A lot of people left. We're here for it now. Whoa, did you see that?
On the Outer Banks, fishing crews keep our cameras running as they head ashore to take care of their property.
Yeah, definitely picking up here. It is what it is.
As Hurricane Dorian prowls the eastern seaboard, GPS data shows vessels steering clear of its vast wind field. But Ice Ranger continues on its course into Dorian's storm force winds.
Valery? Yes. Introduce yourself, please. My name is Valery Kisluk, second officer of motor vessel Ice Ranger. I'm a duty officer right now. Now we are receiving in Marsat Sea distress signal. It's all about Dorian. Very scary storm.
For every 10 miles, they burn over a ton of fuel. But taking the shortest route must be balanced against the safety of the ship.
So in this weather it's difficult, even walking through the deck. The wind is very strong. Whoa, man, careful.
The planned route requires the crew to be on high alert, ready to respond to any change in Dorian's trajectory or power.
Of course, nobody sleep this night. You can even drink the coffee. No more coffee, no more tea. Just only keep the watch.
Hurricane Dorian is moments from making a direct hit on Hatteras, North Carolina, its first and only U.S. landfall.
So, it's happening. 7 o'clock, September 6th, Friday morning. We're almost in the eye. You can see it right there, the whole storm. And so, it begins. The power just went out right now.
And then the internet goes out, and then your phone service goes out, and then you're like, okay, now I'm really trapped, because you're not only physically trapped, now you're virtually trapped as well.
Whew. What you gonna do?
As the eye is approaching, you're getting that inner eye wall, most powerful winds and driving rain, and it's gusting to about 100 miles an hour, and pretty wild hearing the shingles go, you know, come off your roof.
And you can see it's just blowing really, really hard.
As you get through that eye wall, you can see it from a distance. The light changes. It goes from being very dark to being lighter, and then it goes like dead calm, silent.
Officially in the eye. Look at the flag.
Wow, we're in the eye. The birds come out and they fly to wherever they think is going to be safe. Animals kind of come out of their hiding where they were, and all of us come out and explore and see, like, you know, wow, we're in the middle of this. It's very strange. It's very eerie. It gives me the chills just thinking about it.
Hatteras is the most hurricane-prone city in the U.S. But even here, being in the eye is an extraordinary event.
Hey.
I had to go look. I couldn't take it. I had to go.
There was literally 6 inches of water in the bottom of the creek, still draining out towards the sound.
I mean, you don't see it this low. Sometimes you see the bank over there, but not all this exposed here.
When all that water gets sucked out on the southeast wind, and then as soon as we get that shift and that northwest eye wall comes, it pushes all the water back. It comes all at once like a wall of water.
Next thing you know, there you go.
Y'all stay safe.
Time to get back inside.
All right, bye guys.
The eye is surrounded by a band of the storm's most violent winds, following just minutes behind.
Yeah, that's all rainwater rushing off back into the sound. I could see the front coming. I barely get to the house and it starts blowing hard again and raining. All right. The rain started getting really heavy.
Look, that water's coming up so fast. This is nuts. Should have went home earlier. Woo! Let's go. Whoa! Whoa, that's nuts! Look at that!
This is motor vessel Ice Ranger, and now we are passing very closely Dorian.
Ice Ranger is at the most critical part of its journey, passing within 70 miles of Hurricane Dorian's eye.
Very strong, very strong. Now we have captain on the bridge. He's come to alter the course to starboard.
Their plan is to change direction, cutting through Dorian's wake to make for port.
Now we have a swell 6.5 meters and a significant wave 7.9 meters.
In heavy seas, the cargo in Ice Ranger's hold is at risk of breaking free of its bindings, causing a shift in weight that would leave her gravely unstable.
Check it out, guys. 37 degrees to starboard.
In the 25-foot swells, the rolling motion is at the ship's safe limit.
Whoa.
Right now it's everything falling down.
Fighting against the strong wind and waves, the Ice Ranger's top speed is reduced by more than half.
Speed right now is 8 knots. Unbelievable.
Diverting around Dorian has added a day to the journey.
Yeah, this is the backside of the eye wall. The other side of the hurricane. This is the flooding side. Yeah, this is about to get real. This is what we got. It's flooding.
In my backyard, there's been waves.
Pretty gnarly.
In Hatteras, Dorian's Category 1 winds have pushed a 7-foot wall of water on shore. A tsunami-like storm surge is ripping through North Carolina's Outer Banks.
Honestly, right now, the worst thing is things floating into your house and taking down the structure that's there.
Wow, look at it. Look at it rushing right there. That is insane. Eagle Pass River. Going inside. Shut.
Just hoping the wind falls out soon. You know, we were getting messages from friends and people saying it was the worst they'd ever seen.
There's the Coast Guard right there. Flying around, checking on everybody. It's Friday, September 6th. It's finally going down. As far as I know, everyone's safe in Hatteras. We're safe.
Dorian's passage over Hatteras lasted 4 hours. Even more devastating than its 90-mile-per-hour winds was the 7-foot storm surge that swept across the island.
It buckled the walls right here. Wow. There was a lot of force coming through here for sure.
All said and done, we lost thousands of dollars of frozen fish product, and we had thousands of dollars of damage to our business.
Holy. That part of the wall is gone. All right, we're in.
You're looking at the damages and you're saying to yourself, you know, well, that sucks, but all that can be replaced, you know.
We're pretty fortunate considering how bad it could have been. Compared to what happened in the Bahamas, we lost, you know, nothing, pretty much.
All right.
Cape Hatteras was the only point in the U.S. where Dorian made landfall. Days later, the Aiken brothers were back in business. Ice Ranger arrived safely in Port Canaveral under the skilled guidance of its new captain. In the Bahamas, Hurricane Dorian was the island's worst ever natural disaster. This catastrophic assault lasted 27 hours, the most prolonged battering by an Atlantic hurricane of any populated place in recorded history.